that was drawn by Warrant Officer Woods. Ne? It seems to be showing us a kind of an aerial view.
Yes.
So when you say, when did Colonel Ludik and Kadwa arrive? Do you recall?
Commissioners, if I can, in fact, at that scene, it did not take, in fact, we were arriving in drips and drabs. It was not taking, like to say, 10, 20 minutes to arrive. When we arrived, we were still busy, this one arrives. When we were still, this one arrives.
Okay. So from your position, you were talking to Officer Mohana when they arrived, but you say they stopped where other officers were.
Where other officers were.
If this is of any assistance, can you show us on the sketch plan where they were standing approximately?
On paragraph 103.
Page 103.
On page 103.
Yes. The C and D would be
the BMW.
The BMW.
Yes. Just in line with the BMW and this. They were just in line where people were stopped. But they stopped in a position where you can still see the BMW and this other vehicle, but they were in the middle here.
Okay.
In the middle of.
So between warehouse 2 and 5, somewhere in the middle.
If you can look at A, B, C, and E.
Yes.
Then you go, you see container. There were 2 containers.
Yes.
It's a container.
Yes.
Just not far from this last container, that is where other people were stopped.
All right. And so it's Colonel Ludik who then approached you.
Then Colonel Ludik approached me.
And on his approach, what was the discussion there?
I was just informing him that something sinister is happening here. And then, at that time, we have not yet opened the bags. We have not yet offloaded the bags. We have not yet cordoned the scene.
Yes.
I am informing him. Something wrong is happening. Our members are involved in other things that is not aimed at assisting us to arrest the suspect.
Okay.
I was giving him, I was presenting my version to him. Further to say, these members, their intention, according to the information, they were about to leave. I suspect, or I can conclude by saying, by leaving that area, Colonel Ludik, these people, they are defeating the end of justice. We are not going to get whatever we wanted to. Then, Colonel Ludik said, then what are your intentions? When we were discussing, then we are joined by, we were not at the scene, somewhere apart. Then we are joined by Rekhotso, Colonel Maluleke, Colonel Kekana, Colonel Mabasa, Brigadier Luela also.
And at this stage, where is General Kadwa?
General Kadwa did not come to me.
Okay. And
So-
didn't attend this briefing?
Brigadier Luela said, he is here only on behalf of anti-corruption. But by the explanation, the people cannot be charged for anti-corruption if they are defeating the end of justice. And we are already saying drugs are involved. Then, Sebola, this is yours to handle. That is.
Can I ask you a question? You are an experienced police officer. You've dealt with drug busts before. You told us that you underwent the training. Looking at this photo that we were looking at on page 3, and where the various vehicles and the various trucks were. Can you think of any reason?
Page
103, the one that we were looking
sorry.
at now before, the
Oh,
sketch.
sorry. Yes, I'm getting it.
From a policing perspective, can you think of any reason why those bags would have been put in the back of the bakkie? Because you are arriving there, you're seeing that these bags that could possibly be drugs are in the back of a black bakkie. We've moved on from the issue of whether it was living or if it was stationary.
Yes.
Just now you see them there in the back of the bakkie. From a policing perspective, can you think of any good reason why those bags were in the back of a bakkie and why they were not placed on the floor so that the exhibits can be dealt with properly?
Commissioner,
Just pause there for a moment. All right, you remember the question?
yes,
Yes.
Commissioner, what I can tell the Commission is that in the first instance, the person who loaded those bags was not supposed to load them in his bag. That is the first thing. And the second, he should even not have offloaded them from the container if he wanted to maintain, to retain the integrity of the same consignment we are investigating. That was also put to him by myself to say, looking at these bags, none of it has been opened to substantiate what we are saying, your allegation of saying these are drugs. Can't you see that we are putting your life in danger? Let me assume that the same bags that we have loaded are explosives. We were going to be faced with a very serious sin of if those explosives exploded here. Then he did not have an answer, and of which I'm still saying he should have maintained the scene as is. As is does not mean that the drugs should have been in the bags, not drugs. The bags shouldn't have been in his bag. That is incorrect. That was incorrect of him to do that.
But is there a reasonable explanation? I mean, because he would have explained to you why they were loaded in the back of his bakkie. I mean, based on what he told you, is that reason acceptable or it's just complete nonsense?
Thus, there was no reasonable explanation. Everything that was, in fact, to say that was indeed complete nonsense that he was explaining.
Don't use my language, please. I couldn't find a better word, and
Okay, no,
just
okay.
on the spot I had to.
His action there were not supposed to be that. I can even substantiate to say he did not know. He explained to me, do you know drugs? I interviewed him. Do you know drugs? He said no. Then why do you loot the bags? He can't explain.
Well, I was going to say maybe he smelled the drugs, and from that he knew it was cocaine or drugs.
Commissioner, having knowledge of drugs, having knowledge of drugs, more especially cocaine, and the state at which that bags were sealed, it will be difficult for one that even myself I cannot say I smelled drugs. With my experience, with my knowledge, there is something that I did to substantiate to say this might be cocaine. The only thing to arrive at that point was to at least open one of the bags, acquaint yourself with what was in the bag. And still, with regard to issue of smell, you cannot. The bags are sealed with that black masking tape, wrapped. When you go inside the bag, you open. Those bricks have been wrapped with this plastic that normally used to wrap foods. In fact, there is a process because they wrap with something, another something, they put their emblem on top, then they, which will be visible when you look at the brick, so that the intended recipient must know, identify it with the branding, that this comes from this. I don't know whether should I use, this comes from this cartel, the drug cartel. There were some with Red Bulls signs, some with, there were different things, which means where they were packaged. And where they are coming, people should identify them with whoever is sending them.
Maybe I might as well ask this question now, just to get it out of the way, on the back of something that you've said now. When you say you had to open one of the bags to check that indeed it is drugs, when you did that, or when you got to the scene, maybe let me say, when you got to the scene and you saw these bags on the back of this bakkie, was any one of them open?
None.
Thank you.
They were still in their original position from where they were sealed. Is not original position in terms of in the container. No.
Is it you or is it some other officer that says that you had to use something to poke one of the bags?
It is me.
Yeah, and my sense was that you used something quite
use something
thin,
like a pin.
and yes,
You use a pin, you press it
poked,
there. When it come out,
yes, there was a powdery substance.
yes, shiny.
And,
It's shiny. Then
And on that basis, you suspected.
Then I
You don't say for a fact. You say you then suspected that it was cocaine.
that is correct, Commissioner.
Not the smell. All right.
Not a smell.
Okay. Thank you.
Colonel, then assume that the briefing ended and you were then assigned by Colonel Ludick as the investigating officer. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thereafter, you then say Warrant Officer Rekotso pointed you to the BMW. Can you deal with that at paragraph 13?
Warrant Officer also pointed to me the BMW. That he said, this BMW is together with these police officers.
Yes.
Then, I requested police in uniform, together with Sergeant Pume, now Warrant Officer Pume, to take care of the vehicle and get the driver out of that vehicle.
When you say get the driver out of that vehicle, was that for purposes of interview or what was happening?
For the purpose of interview, his presence on that scene.
And then you also say that he pointed out a red Kia?
He also pointed out the red Kia, which was driven by Warrant Officer Pakula.
And then you say Captain Optov. Also then pointed to a VW Golf.
Captain Optov explained this to me.
Yes.
The driver of this BMW is the one who was chasing us from the scene. Captain Optov, at that time, was dressed in full police uniform. Then I asked him, who is that driver? Then he showed me the person that now is known to me, is Mashaba, who is a traffic officer. That he is the one that is said they are not needed at the scene. It's not their scene, it's his.
So from his point of view, Officer Mashaba informed him that that was his scene.
He was not informing.
Oh,
He was directing them not to go. He was directing them not to be here, to go. You are not needed at this scene. This is the version I got from Captain Optov.
All right. And so you say that in relation to the BMW, you asked Warrant Officer Pume to get the driver an interview. Did you take the same steps as it related to the red Kia, Pakule and Mashaba?
I interviewed them
Yourself?
one myself,
Okay.
so that as to acquaint myself with their presence at the scene, their action at the scene.
Okay, and can you give us just a summary, a snapshot of the 3 interviews?
I think it's in my A1 statement in the case docket commissioners. I think.
Just trying to find it quickly.
Paragraphs
254.
14 maybe. In what you say is the annexure. If you look at, Ms. Powe, maybe look at paragraphs 14, 15, and 16.
Commissioner Baloyi, when Colonel is saying his A1, he's directed me to it, so it's page 254 of the bundle. Oh, have you found it, Ken? You can, I think paragraph 8 is where you start to deal with the 3 interviews.
Correct?
Can you just give us a summary of the 3?
After all the introduction, I started with Warrant Officer Mohana, who alleged that he got the information from his informer. He followed up on the information together with Traffic Officer Mashaba. And later on, he requested Warrant Officer Pakula, who is based in Pretoria, to come assist. Asked him if he tried to get back from his own station, since he is stationed at Zongezizwe SAPS, and his answer, he did not think of contacting his own station. I asked him as to why he did not mention his own station to Sergeant Doe, than lying that he is from Hawks, and still he could not give reasons why. And on the question of why were they chasing uniformed police officers on the scene, and his answer was that he was thinking it was his scene. I asked him if he does know drugs, and his answer was no. And on why was he loading what he does not know, his answer was he suspected the consignment to be drugs.
Colonel, before you move to the next interview, because then you go to the Kia, given his answers, what was your sense of Mahane's role in this?
In my own view, when I was looking and checking on what he was explaining, I could see his intention there was not to do police job.
And what was his intention?
His intention was to assist those who requested him to remove those drugs from wherever they were to wherever those two, Mashaba and Nku, wanted them to be.
So are you saying he told the people that he's also from DPCI?
Hawks.
Why are you mentioning the Hawks there?
He said DPCI Hawks.
Thanks.
And in relation to him calling Pakula and
Sorry, Commissioner. He said crime intelligent hawks. Sorry.
and in relation to, is it strange for an officer attending to a scene not to call their own station?
It is strange.
Is it not more than just strange? I thought there's a protocol that requires you to identify yourself properly. So it's strange.
It is an operating procedure to say, wherever you go, the first thing that you do, if I'm leaving my office, one, I inform those I left behind that I've arrived. Two, identify yourself properly to the people that you are, because we are not working in uniform. It's difficult for anyone to identify. Even if I say I'm a police officer, there is a tool that one must use to confirm or to substantiate me saying that I'm a police officer. That is why we are being provided with police identification card.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Colonel, maybe just mine was related to whether perhaps maybe is it standard operating procedure for him to have called his station for backup? Because this was in response to you asking him saying he called Pakula, who's based in Pretoria, and he didn't think of calling his own station.
Commissioners, if you look at the area and you check where is Pretoria, then if he was following up on something that is in motion, then one can see that he will end up losing that which we are following, because we are taking the long route. The first thing first, the approach is, where is the nearest police station? Who are the nearest police? If not, go to 10,111. That is the procedure. I don't call my friends. I call those that will assist.
All right, thank
Thanks.
you, Colonel. Chair, I'm going to move on to the next interview.
Perhaps let's adjourn and resume at 11:25. Let's adjourn.